Deadlock, the hit new game from Valve. Well, kinda new. It's been around for like 2-ish years now, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint if it's new or not. It's been something I've been looking forward to playing for a while now. But before we talk about any of that, we need to do a little bit of story time. Let me take you back to the year 2024. Deadlock had just been announced to the public and was released to the private for testing. I'm assuming it was kinda the same process here as it was for Dota 2. There was like a wave of invites from Valve to early testers, and the next wave of invites were to friends of people who got in. It was something like that. I can't really remember. Whatever. By the time I had caught wind of this, it was friend invite only, which I did get in September of 2024, but I declined the invite. I have a pretty strict rule when it comes to early access games, being I don't want to play a game a ton while it's largely unfinished, lose interest, and never come back to the game after it's fully launched. And Deadlock looked not even close to complete. Plus, I think they were still doing scheduled playtest times. It just did not interest me at the time. Little did I know the change of heart that would occur a year later, and the problems that one rejected invite would cause. Fast forward to 2025. It was about the time when Deadlock was doing the big character update. Doorman, Drifter, Victor, Paige. That update. The game was looking pretty dang good. No more 4-lane. Queue time was just opened all the time. I was thinking it was about time to jump in. So people started playing more. I had a few more people on my friends list with access now, but only one who I really kept in touch with. Sent him a message and he sent me an invite. Piece of cake. Just needed to play the waiting game. Waited a day, waited 2, waited a week, waited 2, waited a month, then 2, then 3. Something was up. I just assumed I wasn't getting that invite. Which brings us to today. Deadlock launched another big character update. Rem, Silver, Celeste, Apollo. And this update had me wanting access even more than before. So I turned to the Steam forums for invites, since now I wasn't appearing in my friend's invite list anymore. I probably spent 2 weeks in the invite threads trying to get access, and nothing was coming my way. Looking deeper into this, turns out, if you have an older Steam account, like mine, rejecting an invite bricks your account from getting another one. I probably made the same amount of support tickets as I did requests for invites to try and get this resolved, which didn't help since Steam seems to have a zero tolerance policy on Deadlock. You mention that word and your ticket is closed, which is understandable. They probably get tons of requests for access and just do not have the time or the ability to help. But I was trying to get a Steam problem solved, so it was very frustrating. At this point, I'm pretty defeated. Steam support couldn't help me. None of the other people with bricked accounts had any answers in their threads. And yes, I did email Gaben. I tried everything. Everything except trying another friend on my list. I had seen that you might also need to be longtime friends with this person to get an invite, where the forum invites were all just in and out interactions. So if you needed to be longtime friends, that would answer at least that part of it. Not really why I didn't get the first one, but I sent a message to someone who I haven't spoken a word to in probably over a decade for an invite. We played on the same old TF2 server that no longer exists, and they've just been along for the ride on my friends list. I asked around the 5th or 6th of February. Another day went by, nothing. Day 2, nothing. Another dead end. The next night, I was just staying up, working on another project. It was actually another kind of Deadlock video. It was going to be an outsider looking in kind of video, as well as another way to get the issue that I was having out there to try and get it resolved. Pretty much midnight of the 9th, so definitely past the 48-hour mark on these invites again. I got the email. I couldn't believe it. I don't know if it was because it was a longtime friend, or if someone at Valve said something about my support tickets, or if Gabe read my email, but I got one. Needless to say, I stayed up well past midnight to play until I couldn't keep my eyes open. Which finally brings us to now. I can finally talk about Deadlock. What an uphill battle for a game that's not even done yet. Deadlock is a third-person MOBA shooter. The map is split up into 3 lanes of 2 versus 2. You run, you gun, it's pretty fun. If you're watching, odds are you probably already know this. I wasn't around to play the 4-lane version of the map, but it probably wasn't that good if it was something worth changing the whole game for. But I've been around the block. I've played MOBAs and competitive shooters, League, Dota, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Overwatch, the usual suspects. So how does Deadlock stack up to them? As I mentioned before, the game is a third-person shooter. But before you even start a match, you need to select a few different characters to play as. The game does away with all the pre-game setup you see in MOBAs like Dota and League, and just lets you pick what you want to play. The lanes are set up 2v2, and from what I can tell, usually with one aggressive character and one more supportive character. But you can request to swap early on if your lanes are looking a little rough. There's no buying items at the start, you just get sent right to your lane. Pretty quick to get right into the action. In lane, you have your usual creeps, but Deadlock does something a little differently. To earn money in a MOBA, you usually need to get the last hit. Here, you get money if you're around creeps that die. What Deadlock does is every lane creep drops a soul. This gives you a little extra money regardless if you shoot it or not, but what can happen here is the opposing players can deny you this extra by shooting it down first and taking the extra for themselves. Last hitting this secures you that extra money. It's an interesting dynamic of pushing the wave, harassing the lane, and denying creep souls. It's pretty tricky. I find I just don't have enough bullets to do everything, but that's probably because I'm still new. Speaking of being new, there's a lot to take in. I'm getting flashbacks of the first time I played Dota 2. Not knowing what the characters do, not knowing the movement, not knowing what items do, not knowing who to target in team fights, and not knowing the map. Which is pretty much everything else that isn't laning. But hey, that was good enough to get me a handful of wins early on, which put me in an elo I probably shouldn't have been in, and am currently experiencing a losing streak that would make you lose your marbles. They weren't lying when they said Deadlock has a steep learning curve. So what makes it so steep? We'll save characters for last since I have played all of them and want to briefly go over who I like and who I don't. So let's start with movement, because I think I can roll through these topics in an organized manner with one critique rolling into the next, like they rhyme. So movement. Movement seems pretty simple. You've got a dash/roll, which can also be an air dash and a double jump. With the right timing, you can combine the two to get yourself a long jump. And I think that's about it. I've seen online there's a jump down dash, which I can't do, so if you want to tell me how to do that, be my guest. There's also wall jumps that seem to reset your air dash and maybe double jump. I can't really tell because I'm still in the headspace of I don't know if I used a double jump already or not, or if an item allows me to repeat that action. Because it seems like there's a lot of little tricks to the system that are general and character specific. General in a sense that every character can do this. Character specific because each character has their own set of stamina bars. Some with less, some with more. Some characters get a recharge on ability. Some characters get a reset of their movements. It's a lot to take in. It's not like other MOBAs where you can kind of tell when you're safe. I've had people who I thought I left in the dust run me down the whole map for a kill. It's crazy. But I also think that's partly due to me still learning the map. I've played about 50 plus games at this point, and I swear they add a new room every game I play. I've seen videos of people jumping through windows that definitely didn't exist until I saw it that moment. There's no way you're figuring out that's there by looking at this thing. The map might as well just show you the 3 lanes. I mean, I get it. Mazes and monsters is a far out game. Swords, poison, spells, battles, maiming, killing. The size and exploration part is pretty fun. It really does feel like a city, but it's a little ridiculous. Every game, there's at least one lip on a corner or ledge that gets me killed because I didn't know it was there, or I knew something was there and I just couldn't find it with my back turned. I guess the only real way to learn it is just to learn it. Also, timings for spawns is not locked into my brain, so I'm pretty lost at where and when it's opportune to leave lane. But we got nowhere to go but up. Or down. Matchmaking is kind of weird. To briefly go over the matchmaking, it feels not great. I was winning a lot early on, and I think I got placed a bit too high in the ranks. Now I'm on the course correction lose streak. It's very similar to how Street Fighter 6 handles master rank. You win all the way up to master, and then you lose in master until you land on your correct rating. It also doesn't feel great, but it's probably not that big of a deal for a game that is not even out yet. But I would rather climb faster and lose all the way to my correct rank than play with worse people for longer and possibly have a worse time. Not saying I'm good, but I at least have some MOBA game sense. I think one of the biggest problems for me right now are the items. It's very overwhelming coming into a new game with all these new stats and abilities. Right now, I'm still just using the default Valve builds to get a grasp of what does what, like weapon and spirit damage being the 2 main types of damage. There's also melee damage, bullet speed, fire rate, damage thresholds for your HP and enemies' HP. And most of the default guides don't even touch on all the active items besides heals and shields. I thought Street Brawl would be a good mode to learn the game as a beginner, but I've found this to not be the case. I think it's okay to get in a quick game with a new character, but if you don't know the character and don't know the items, I don't think this is a good mode to learn the game. It's kind of a nothing mode. The devs probably just threw this in here just for variety's sake. I think it would be better to have a mode that lets you explore and fight around the city, do objectives to earn items, and you're probably gonna read what you get if you're new. Kind of like the city trial mode in Kirby Air Ride, but have it be more focused on main game objectives. Jungle creeps, mid-boss, spirit earn. Maybe throw in some break the targets for some aim training. I think a mode like that would be a lot more beneficial to learning the game. Street Brawl kind of feels like you need to already know a thing or two, but I don't want to give Valve any more ideas unless there's a big fat paycheck with my name on it. Another thing about items is that they don't really describe what they do at a glance. This is probably something that is going to change at some point, so let's just do this quick. In Dota, if the item is an axe or sword, it's probably a strength item. If it's a staff, probably an intelligence item. And if it's a katana or dagger, probably dexterity. And there's still the nuance of what the item actually does. I remember some of my earlier games of Dota. I was playing with my cousin and he told me to buy Chrysalid, and I had no clue what he was talking about. I could have searched the name, but I didn't know you could do that. If you've never played Dota, I dare you to try and point it out here. But at a glance, you can probably tell what you're looking to build without really knowing. There are things like Blade Mail, where you could probably tell by the name that people who hit you will probably get hurt back. Deadlock has stuff like Opening Rounds, where the art is just one beefy arm. The name makes me think maybe my first shot after a reload will be stronger. Of course, you should read what everything does. But if I was looking for something that does what this item actually gives you, I wouldn't know it was this just by looking. Another one that's like this is Toxic Bullet. It causes bleed and poison, both damage over time, but if the item causes bleed, shouldn't it be called something like Bleedle Gun? So when I see it, I go, oh, this item causes bleed. I would say most of the items do portray what they do pretty well. Heart is health, horse is stamina, armor is armor, clock is cooldown. But some of them, I would just have no clue what they do without reading. I mentioned Dota 2 does this a bit better, but it all just boils down to a time and effort thing. When I'm in Dota, I see someone on their team with a lot of auto attacks, I know what to buy. I see a lot of casters or CC, I know what to buy. I'm still in that very deep learning stage of Deadlock. And I think that about covers it. So let's go over my thoughts of the characters. Abrams, the main guy who they very much want you to play first. Tanky, in your face, lots of melee damage. He's fine. Apollo, new character, seems pretty tricky. He also can just make you look like a clown on both ends. Bebop, I like. I love hook characters. I'm not good with his ult. I need better positioning, but I like to play him. I don't really like Billy that much. His rotation is pretty predictable, so I don't really want to play him. Calico, gonna be honest, I don't get this character. Not my bag, baby. Celeste is very fun. She was released just before I started playing, and I saw people memeing about her with Lich from Dota, and I didn't know why. Got into Deadlock and immediately found out. And she really shows how a lot of people in Deadlock have never played Dota. I love playing Lich, so it's nice to see the tradition carry over. I like Doorman. His kit is very fun. I know people really like his voice, and the actor has not been revealed, but to me he just sounds like the Moonanites from Aqua Teen.
No one can defeat the quad laser.
I kind of like Drifter, and I think if I knew items a bit more, I would love playing him, but I don't mind him right now. I think he's okay. Dynamo? I don't really like Dynamo. His ult is huge, but there's something about it that just doesn't mesh with me, which is weird because I like Tidehunter in Dota, and him and Dynamo both have just big stun ults. Something just doesn't click for me. Graves is very fun to play. I'm not really drawn to play her. I like minion characters, but this isn't really my style. In any hero shooter I've ever played, Grey Talon is probably my favorite bow character, but I will 100% screw up his ult. Haze, I think, is another noob character. Just build weapon damage, make sure your aim is true, and you'll probably have a good time. Very fun. I actually think Holiday is the worst character in the game. It's probably a skill issue, but let me explain. I think your kit overlaps too much with Bebop, who has a way easier time hitting his abilities that do almost the same thing. I understand Holiday is probably the better character, but why pick someone who is more aim reliant, has a longer cooldown on hook, a bit more mobility and displacement ability? Someone who's going to require more time investment to get good with, when you can pick Bebop and do essentially the same thing. Yes, I understand the lasso is better, but at my level, I don't see it being that much better for how much longer the cooldown is. I think she needs a bit of a rework, or Bebop needs to be changed. One or the other. I think Infernus is alright. I always want to play him more. He is one of those fun, stun everyone characters, and I do want to get better with him. I just don't know if I would pick him over my current favorites. Ivy is tricky. I think she's some kind of teamfight, engager, supporter, big annoying stuns, area control, but I don't know how to fly her ult. I can't fly. Kelvin. I like most of his kit and movement, but I wish his freeze slowed a little bit more, and I don't think his ult fits his playstyle that well. He feels like a character that is 100% there to support someone else, but can't do much himself. Lady Geist is very fun. I love the health swap. It's very fun to use. Very annoying to play against. I kind of hate it, but I kind of love it. Lash. I suck with Lash. He is definitely an expert movement character, and that is something that's not in my realm of capability. at this moment. I don't mind McGinnis. I do like turret characters in hero shooters and MOBAs, but McGinnis's turrets don't feel great. It's nice that you can set up a bunch, and the area control with the heal and wall is nice, but I prefer something that can be a bit more aggro, like Battle Engie in TF2 or Torb in Overwatch. And there's probably a way to build this, so I'll have to keep trying new stuff out. Mina, I don't like her. I think that's on me. I just don't think I know how to play her right. Now, Mirage, I've played a few games with. His health steal is a fun idea. I don't really like building it up over the course of a whole game, but I do like how strong he gets when you can purchase mostly offensive items and don't need to build health to get a lot on him. Maurice and Krillin, very simple character. He just knows how to ruin your life. And I don't like Noctis talk to me like that, but I think he's a great beginner character that also comes with a lot of value in team fights. And we've got Noctis and Prompto in this game. We're two boys short of getting the band back together. You gotta make it happen, Valve. Paige, not my favorite character, but I would probably pick her over someone like Kelvin. Her abilities are a little slow, but have some pretty good value in team fights. It just depends. Paradox, I think, is another high investment, high reward character. I'm definitely not good with her, but there's gotta be something more to her and her kit. There's gotta be something you can do to really take advantage of the swap. Probably some item I don't know about yet. Pocket. I don't really like him. His pokes are good, but I feel like he just doesn't have enough going for him in the end game. Feels very much like a please win your lane character. Rem. I love Rem. This little man is perfect. Now, I really like 7, and I don't know what that says about me. Apparently, 7 players have a reputation. Now, I'm not a 7 main or anything, but I do like him. Shiv is... I don't know. I like the dash, I like the execute, but I think I'll have to revisit him after I play more. Now, Silver is my favorite character right now. I love install characters, I really like her kit, and I've learned a lot about the value of building certain stats like fire rate by playing her. Just a fun character to play. Sinclair, I've never been into ultimate stealing characters. The hex he has is very fun. The double shooting swap is fun. I think if I knew the game more, I would really like this character. Venator is okay. Not my favorite gun character. His ult is fun, but I would probably pick another gun character over him. Another character who I like, Victor. I'm not great with him, but I like his pudge kind of danger zone and his self-res. I like going in and causing problems, but I definitely need to learn how to play him better. Vindicta, pretty fun gun character. I'm not much for sniping, so I'm probably not picking her unless I'm really feeling it. Annoying to play against. Viscous, this guy is my nightmare. Every game I play against him, I'm getting finessed. I'm getting slime punched around corners, slime punched up in the air, slime punched back behind enemy lines. Usually, it's the hook characters that troll you and make you want to DC, but he is the troll character of this game. Nothing hurts more than getting beat down by Gumby. I need to learn how to play him. Viper, another character I like to play. Still trying to figure out the ult. I mean, it's pretty simple, and maybe that's all there is to it. Fun character. Warden, I think this is actually the easiest character to play in the game. Perfect for first-time players. I think Deadlock should push this guy more. Wraith, another fun gun character. I would probably pick Haze or 7 over her, but the teleport is nice. So, who knows? Maybe I'll warm up to her soon. And Yamato, another install character, but it's kind of like a super refresher orb. I really like the jump-in move. I don't see myself picking them anytime soon, though. There's probably some kind of combo, but I just don't know how to do it right now. And that about covers it. Everything I've gone through to get into Deadlock, and how my experience has been with the game as a new player. If I had to add one more gripe here, it would be that when engaging with heavy attacks, I think the attacker has too much control over the engagement. I had an Abrams constantly bait out parries, which looked super easy to do, heavy attacks seem way too non-committal. When the defender can only parry once and then have to wait 5 seconds to recharge it. Yes, you can CC or roll away if you make a bad call, but that's not always an option, and that's probably a skill issue. How would you like it if you were playing Street Fighter 6? Guy does a drive impact on you. You react and make the call to counter with your own drive impact. The way Street Fighter 6 is, you win that interaction and get to punish. In Deadlock, it's like if you made the right call, but now your opponent is able to jump out of the drive impact and punish you for making the right call. That's how it feels. I think either heavy attack should be forced to commit to the direction they're facing, or parry should get a recharge if you make the call and there was just a heavy attack in your proximity. Or maybe make light attacks able to break heavy charge or something. Just my 2 cents. But that's really it. The game is fun and I'm invested. I've been booting up Kovacs again, which I haven't done since Valorant Season 1. I don't know if the game is going to have an official beta or if they're just going to keep updating it until it launches, but I hope we get there soon. To me, it seems like they only need to touch up some of the models, flesh out menus, UI, rank, and all that. Maybe add a few more characters and items, but it feels pretty much all here now. I'll probably make another Deadlock video with the original idea for this one, so keep an eye out. And thanks for watching. Thanks again for making it to the end of the video. Yeah, kind of a lot to say. I think there was even more that I could say, but I tried to make it as dense as I could without just rambling, which there's probably a bit of rambling, but that's okay. But thanks again. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want. There's definitely at least one more Deadlock video planned, and some other stuff planned. So if you're interested, you know, you can always stick around.